Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and today I'm going to answer one of the questions that I got from my training video I did the other day, which I'm going to link down below in the comments of me training in my gym. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, and in that video, one of the last lifts I did was skull crushers. Of course, I did them with a bit of shoulder extension, which puts extra stress on the long head because shoulder extension like that, it stretches the long head of the tricep, and it's one of the few ways to actually activate and engage that head completely. But I did only 5 reps, and some people asked, how can you get away with doing the low reps like that safely on an isolation movement? Now, the reason we normally avoid that is because with isolation movements, the majority of the time you are isolating a relatively small muscle compared to a lot of the bigger muscles, and therefore you can't really use a lot of weight on it. And what happens is that if people tend to use a lot of weight, they end up turning it into a compound boot because they try to cheat a weight up. They will use bigger muscles and they get a lot sloppier with their technique, and then if they're using it with a weight that they can't handle, it can increase the risk of injury. So for someone who is relatively inexperienced, yeah, this is a one-way ticket to Snap City. But if you know your body, you have the technique down, and you're not getting so excessively sloppy that you're going to suddenly put a huge impact or sudden stress on a muscle that is smaller and more prone to tearing with a really heavy weight like a bicep or a tricep or something like that, then you can get away with it. So it comes down to using a very, very strict form. If you're going to use a heavy weight for low reps on an isolation movement like that, you need to have the form strict. Or at least strict enough that you're not going to, as I said earlier, put a sudden load on the muscle that it can't handle at some point in the range of motion. So actually try to use stricter form and use a weight that you really and truly can lift with that muscle, even if it's just for a few reps, so that you're not truly cheating it with a really heavy weight for low reps. So that's the biggest part to doing it, and that's something that you learn over time with experience and learning to execute these lifts correctly. But if you've only been lifting weights for a year and a half, I would be reluctant to go under about 7 or 8 reps on an isolation movement, just because of the fact of you don't always have a good mind-muscle connection, your technique isn't always good, and you are going to be more prone to injuries and tears that way. So leave that for the more experienced guys, and for those of you who are more experienced, if you want to do it on occasion, go ahead if you can do it safely. And you have a lot of experience and you know that your technique is good on a lift like that and you can do it strictly and correctly, then go ahead and go for it. I think it's perfectly fine to do that on occasion. Alright guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.